welcome back to the show. Many thanks for staying with us. And I'm connecting with our correspondent, Erastus Asari-Donko, who's joining us live from Kumasi. Hello, Erastus. Erastus, let's go through what has been happening today. Quite a number of people, very key people who played key roles on that day. Give us the summaries for those who could not follow.
Well, so we've had the leaders or the commanders of the various forces at Ejra appearing before the committee today. In the beginning, we had the officer commanding the Central Command in Kumasi, and that is Brigadier General Afo, coming before the committee and to answer questions on deployment, rules of engagement with the people in Ejra, why they brought in the military, who ordered the military to come in, and whether as a commander who was in charge of that, did he consider other forms of riot control gadgets to be used in Ejra and all that. His responses were that, well, the military do not use tear gas. For example, they have their weapons and they have their rules of engagement. So once they are called in, they know what to do, and that is what they did. And in fact, he was followed by the commander commanding the 4th Battalion Infantry, that is Lieutenant Colonel Pepra. He also took his seat and answered questions on how people were deployed. And he said that he received a call from the GOC, General Officer Commanding, and he indicated that the police have requested for assistance. And so he also ordered the Operation Calm Life unit to go in there and support them. In fact, when the 2IC, that's the Deputy Police Commander, DCOP David Ajem, also came in, he also confirmed that Operation Calm Life, which involves the police and the military as a team, came to support the people in there. He also said that, well, they do not have other riot control gadgets at the time. They have them at the regional level, but at the time in Ejra, they did not have time enough to assemble and, in fact, plan a strategy and use implements or gadgets like the tear gas and rubber bullets and police shells. So they made do with the weapons they had at the time. And in his own words, he said that, well, they did their best with the weapons they had at the time. And so when the Ejra Municipal Commander came in, that's to give his testimony, well, he said that he was not aware of Operation Calm Life as a team itself coming in to support the police. What he knows is that there was a team, a reinforcement team from the Regional Police Command that came in to support them. There was another team from the military that came in to support them. And then the committee was asking him that, did he see Operation Calm Life as a team coming to support? Well, he went into some banter, and then finally he admitted that no, he did not know the team that came in to support as Operation Calm Life. What he knows is that one team came in as reinforcement from the Regional Police Command, and then another came in as a team to back them up from the military, and so that is what he worked with. So there's been that back and forth, trying to get into the rules of engagement. They say that somebody fired a weapon from the crowd. They asked who fired that weapon, from which direction. And at that time, the military command said they needed to bring the commander of that particular team on the ground to be able to answer those questions. Then there was the question about whether some of their men got injured. And they said no, they did not mention anything as to some of their men getting injured. But when the commander for Ejra, the police commander, came in, he said he was there, he witnessed a stone hit one of the military men. When asked further where that stone hit and whether the officer he knew was injured, he said the stone hit the foot. And because he was wearing a boot, his guess is that perhaps it did not really affect him, but he doesn't know why he took it the way he took it, and so he did not see him get injured. And so the questions that were asked was that indeed the committee felt at the time that in fact, no weapons were fired. But DCOP Ajimaya Jem said he thinks that some weapons were fired. Did they have the weapon? He said no, they do not have the weapon. That 2 people have been arrested and they have weapons. As to what time they are arrested, whether it was at the time of the demonstration or after the demonstration, that was not clear before the committee. And so questions like whether they've tested the weapon to see if it has been fired, the weapons retrieved from the 2 people, he said no, they've not done that at the moment. Finally, it was the turn of the City FM journalist who also described what he saw at the cemetery when Kaka was buried, and the issue about the video that the regional minister tendered in evidence of people throwing stones at the water cannon vehicle of the police. He also explained himself at the cemetery what happened there and gave evidence to the committee. So I must say that it's been a very comprehensively delivered day with about 4 people coming before the committee, all giving testimony to what happened at the Gifty.
Thank you very much. And we do know that tomorrow they continue with the sitting and we'll be there live again. Erastus Asaridonko there, correspondent who is also following keenly for us the proceedings of the committee probing the Ejura killings. Well, in Wa, 15 witnesses who are also victims of last week's military attack on civilians have appeared before the committee, which is conducting an inquiry into the inhumane incident. Hearing started yesterday at the Regional Coordinating Council and is expected to continue this morning. It's expected to continue through today. Rafiq Salam has been monitoring the proceedings there. Rafiq is joining me via Zoom with more. Rafiq, tell us about the WA Public Inquiry Committee and how the proceedings panned out today.
Gifty, let me tell you that the hearing here is in camera. The media is not allowed to be part of it. But as you reported, 15 persons so far have met the committee at the Upper West Regional Coordinating Council. They've been given an office which is at room 36 for these alleged victims to come and testify, to come and tell them actually what transpired. And so since yesterday, the gone through 15 persons, including Gafur Muhammad, 29-year-old, who was whose thigh developed a fracture on the right thigh bone. And so they went to the Upper Hospital, and that was where they met him. And also they came to the Upper Coordinating Council, where they met the public relations officer of the Upper LTC, Nikus Awuni, and then also a host of other personalities with spoken to. They also met the Upper West commander of the BNI, the Upper West Regional commander of the Ghana Police Service, and then also they also spoke to the Upper West regional minister. And so today, Gifty, what the committee, the 4-member committee led by Colonel BZ Ayorgo, has been doing is that they have been meeting the soldiers who are alleged to commit these atrocities on the people. And then the information that we are gleaning on is that there are about 86 soldiers in number. And so today, the committee have been able to meet about 20 of them, and then they will continue. But I'm also having information that the committee is likely going to come out an interim report about how the process have gone so far. And that is the situation in the Upper West region here.
Very much. We've just seen some new videos that have come out from the day of the attack. Some people being asked to roll over on the floor. Tell us a little bit about this, these videos that are just emerging.
You know, since the incident happened, we were having one video which was shot by one journalist here. The video currently that you are seeing is the video that were taken by the Upper West public relations officer of the RCC, Clifford Zawuni. And so you can see that in the middle of the video, and that was where the soldiers got hold of him and then beat him up. And so the video stopped there. So these were the videos that he was in and which really incurred the wrath of the soldiers for him to be beaten. And so what we are also learning is that the military high command already have taken some actions against some of the soldiers at the barracks. And
Looks like I lost Rafik there. He says that some action have been taken against these military personnel. We'll definitely get some more as we go along because the committee continues to sit, and those are videos that are just coming in today. Now, away from Wa, the main suspect in the murder of the 33-year-old head teacher of Atonsu Montessori Basic School has been reenacting how he murdered him in cold blood. Ohime Teria joins me via Zoom with more. Hello, Ohime. Ohime, share with us the details. Unmute, Ohime, and share with us the details that this gentleman who has been arrested shares on how he killed this driver and head teacher.
Yes, Getty, the suspect is Rashid Ibrahim, age 32, and he has been leading police investigators to the scene where he allegedly murdered the victim, Israel Ejimenu, head teacher of Rogel Montessori School at Atonsu in Kumasi. First, he took the investigators through what the investigators say is reenactment of the crime scene. So he told investigators he first picked the driver from Kumasi High School Junction, a popular spot in Atonsu, and drove him towards that new area which is under development with the promise that he was going to pick some speakers from the house. So they first parked the vehicle in an area that was not obscure. It was an open space. And after that, he walked the victim through some bushes. And a few meters away from that spot, he pulled machete that he has already concealed under an oil palm tree and started, cutting the victim from behind. And he also told the police officers he cut the victim several times, and in the process, even when he fell down, he didn't stop. He continued till he managed to cut off the head from the entire body. And later on, when he realized blood has splashed into his attire, then he left that particular spot to a construction site, which was a construction tank filled with water to wash down, and later came back to the scene with a plastic bag to pick the head from the spot. Unfortunately, whilst picking the head, he heard some noise coming towards where he was. So he had to throw the head into nearby bushes and then flee the scene. So that is how come it took the support of some residents around and the efforts of the police to search and comb the entire bushes before they were able to locate the head to, support the body that was discovered in the nearby bush. So the suspect appeared and he told police that he committed the act alone, just that before he committed this act, he had the assurances from people that he says promised him of a money ritual that he was going to be made rich overnight once he brings the human head. So police investigations continue. My information is that he's likely to be arraigned before the Continental District Court tomorrow to face charges on murder. Gifty.
Ohime, that's a very disturbing story that bears a lot of semblance with what happened in Kaswa, I beg your pardon, with little Ishmael. But has the police revealed information as to how they found this guy in the first place?
Yes, I have gathered some information. First, on Sunday, the suspect, Rashid Ibrahim, was arrested on the same day he allegedly committed this heinous crime. Some residents in the vicinity, I'm told a gentleman spotted him, going to that direction where the body was found. And later when news got to the community that a headless body has been found, then he said yes, he knew one of the two people who apparently alighted from the private vehicle being used by the deceased as a boat vehicle. So he confided in a security man just this afternoon. I take this fresh information that after confiding in this security man apparently works in the same company where this Rashid Ibrahim works. So the security man also confided in the owner of this particular, company, and it was through the owner's assistance that the police managed to locate Rashid and arrested him. Even when he was arrested, he first denied the allegations and then told police he was somewhere in the Ejoso vicinity, led police to Ejoso. But when police went there, they realized the suspect has not been telling them the truth. It was not until Tuesday when police officers brought him again for interrogation that he broke down and confessed to the killing, and later led police to the scene, especially where he has hidden the machete he used allegedly in committing this crime, and then told them every detail of this crime. So I must say, police, intervention and arrest was very swift. The suspect was arrested on Sunday, and then by Tuesday, he was already singing to the praises of the crime he has allegedly committed.
Right. Ohime, unfortunately, we run out of time, but just a quick information, if you have that, as to whether or not they are picking up the people who he says gave him the assurance that should he bring this human, whatever, parts, he would get rich quick.
Yes, police also say they are not leaving any stone unturned. They want to investigate the case to the backer. So everybody who is involved, any name that have been mentioned, will be thoroughly investigated. So I take this information that the people who assured him, one of them is a fetish priest, but this is yet to be confirmed by police. Okay. But I'm reliably informed that a fetish priest is involved, and police want to go extra mile to investigate this fetish priest in that regard.
Certainly a developing story that we'll keep our eyes on. Very disturbing one, I must say. Ohime, hopefully with time we'll get to hear from the deceased family members, if we can trace them, and also find out from him who this man who has been killed was. Ohime, thank you very much.
Yes, we have enough information on him.
Right. Ohime, we'll come for that subsequently. We'll put that together, I'm sure, subsequently for our viewers. Ohime Teria there, member of the security desk here at JoyNews. Very bizarre story, I must say. Oh, let's move on from there. The Motor Traffic and Transport Department of the Ghana Police Service says public sensitization by their personnel to reduce road accidents is not working. It comes as latest data they released show 200 people died from road accident last month alone, bringing the total number of people who have died this year alone to 1,450. There is more on the latest data in this following news desk report.
The carnage on Ghana's roads has for years been a major source of concern, with governments and agencies embarking on numerous campaigns to tackle the menace. However, the situation is not getting any better. Current data shows 200 people died from accidents in June 2021 alone. This brings the total for the first half of the year to 1,450 lives. When compared to the same period last year, it means 316 more people have died this year than the same period last year. Greater Accra and the Shanti regions lead the pack by way of most accidents recorded. Minibuses, taxis and trucks are vehicles that were mostly involved in accidents within this period. The MTTD report also indicates driving without a valid license was the most committed offence, followed closely by drivers using expired documents and riders without helmets. Government in 2019 approved 1 billion cedis for implementation of measures including fixing of street lights, road signs, among others, to deal with the situations. The deaths, however, continue, leaving room yet again for calls on drivers to be cautious on the road.
That gives you an idea of the number of people, over 1,000 that we have lost this year alone. The Director General of the Police MTTD, COP Frederick Edu Enim, admits sensitization over the period has not helped much. He explains that deployment of his men to accident-prone areas will be the next step.
It's a big problem. It's a headache to some of us, because if you look at the rate of accident for the first quarter of the year, you yourself bear witness to the fact that it's alarming. Because even if you take robberies in which lives were lost, if you take 1 year or 2 years robberies that occurred in which people lost their lives, you will not get this figure for the recorded in accidents for the first quarter. Likewise, COVID deaths. So it tells you that it's serious and something must be done about it. We are all alarmed because it's a higher rate.
Are we doing anything wrong?
Yes, of course. There's something wrong. It's not normal, because we are talking of the use of the vehicles. Right? There's a machine operated by human beings. That's the side of the drivers. We are talking as an institution. What are we also doing? We are talking as a government. What are we also doing in terms of logistics and other things? So there's something wrong somewhere. There's something wrong somewhere. So all of us have a role to play. The driver has a role to play. The owner of vehicles have roles to play. The police as an institution has a role to play. The government has a role to play. So that these accidents should be brought to the barest minimum.
As the Director General of the MTTD, something is wrong somewhere. Well, it's up to us to figure that out and to work it out. Away from that story, procedures begin in preparation for the surgery to separate the Banza twins conjoined at the head as groundbreaking test is conducted for the first time here in Ghana. There is more in this report.
The Banza Siamese twins have gone through a specialized MRI scan conducted in preparation for the first phase of their separation surgery. The twins are the first in Ghana to be born conjoined at the head, and doctors at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital are gearing up to perform a series of complicated procedures over a period of 12 to 18 months to separate the twins. This most recent test is a specialized MRI scan that has never been done before in Ghana. Senior radiographer at the Ridge Greater Accra Regional Hospital, Dorina Jama Udote, is the only Ghanaian technician who has ever observed this test being conducted anywhere in the world. She said the procedure was a success, but it wasn't easy.
When it comes to our maiden diffusion tensor image, we also realized that we had a challenge there when it came to the scanning protocol. Again, we had to modify the scanning protocol to ensure that we could get these images. Now, if you turn your attention to our screen, we have the diffusion tensor images which we achieved today. And basically, from this image here, that's on your upper right quadrant, you realize that we can see the fibers in baby 1's brain. So this clearly tells us that baby 1 has his brain fibers going in that particular direction. So we realize baby 1 is the one below, and baby 2 is the one above. So we realize that here in baby 2, we have his brain fibers shooting to the other direction. So basically, this kind of imaging, or the diffusion tensor imaging, shows us the direction of the baby's brain tissue, and also it helps the surgeons because they now know where it would be safe to enter or not to enter, so as not to, as it were, paralyze or cause more harm to these babies. This will also help us to, or the whole craniophagos team, to fabricate the models which will be needed during the practice leading towards the surgery. So despite the challenges that were faced today in our scan, the scan did come out successfully.
Top neurosurgeon and team leader on the case, Dr. Kaba, explained that the test was hitherto considered unfeasible. He also explained why the successful completion of the procedure was good news, not only for the twins, but for all Ghanaians.
This test that we have done today is extremely important, not only for the kids, but for people who have brain tumors, stroke, and other neurological diseases, even heart diseases and many others. It actually allows us to see the tracks in the brain, to know exactly where we are, what to touch and what not to touch, what is affected and what is not affected. So it gives us a detailed view of what is happening or what has happened to the brain. And regarding the twins, it will actually help us to have a more detailed study of their anatomy to be able to plan for a successful surgery. I must say that until we received them, we didn't know that this test could be done in Ghana. And it's the first time we are having it done in Ghana and in the sub-region. We didn't know that the technician could do it until we started asking, who can help us with this? Who can help us with this? Everybody is saying, our machine doesn't have this, our machine doesn't have this, and we got to know that Rich Hospital machine has it. And the technician in Rich has done it before. And that by itself is a great, great relief when it comes to the diagnosis and treatment of other diseases, including heart, brain, and spinal cord, and other organs.
And that's certainly good news right there. And we'll be following this. We know now that the presidency or the state will be bearing the cost for this surgery. And it's certainly groundbreaking indeed. Well, that's it for this hour. There is more news at myjoyonline.com. And of course, tomorrow we continue with the committee sitting both in Accra and both in Kumasi and in Wa. We'll bring you all of the details. Log on to myjoyonline.com for more news. My name is Gifty Ando Apia.